setups, so you can go out there and catch more coho and king salmon in the Puget Sound. We have a green flasher, 11-inch, with a chip on the back to attract fish. Came with the flasher. And behind that, I like to run about 24 inches. We have a hoochie with a trailer hook and a main hook. We put 1 or 2 beads in there just to separate it so you don't have your hooks all the way in the skirt of it. We're running that behind a Shimano 8-foot 6-inch rod that is medium fast action. And yeah. So on this rod, we're running a red flasher, chrome in the center. It's an 8-inch. We're only running 8-inch on this rod because with these divers here, they're supposed to dive 100 feet, but I found that with the drag, they don't dive quite that much. So I put a little extra weight on the end of it so you get deeper, because sometimes you gotta get down there for those king salmon, Puget Sound. They like to stay low and on the bottom. And then we just got our hoochie, same setup as the last rod. Running that, and you troll that. I only have 1 downrigger on my boat, so that's why I run a diver. If I had 2 downriggers, I'd be running 2 downriggers. I do believe that they do work better. Alright, so Chinook fishing the Puget Sound. What I prefer to do to catch more salmon and hook up is bounce your ball off the bottom, crank up a few times, and then you will be set right at about the good depth. You can adjust this by what your fish finder is telling you or to your personal preference, but that's just how I like to do it. Now, these are some good colors that I have found work really well in the Puget Sound. This one is one of my favorites, along with the pink and white spoon with a red or pink hoochie on the back, and this blue splatterback coho killer. I caught a 20-pound king on this year, and I lost a really nice coho on this one earlier this year. But this one seems to look the best in the water, but I just haven't had as many hookups. It does work very well. But yeah, that's pretty much what will work in the Puget Sound. Alright, so I love to put some scent on my lures so that they can smell them too and not just see them. This is the Salmon Feast, which this is the one I've caught the most on. It just seems to work way better than the anchovy, but I like to put this on like my herring just for some extra scent, because anchovy scent. Now when you're running these, you want to put some on the inside or the outside and rub it in and let it dry for about a minute before you put it down. That way it stays longer, your scent lasts longer, and you don't just run it off right away. I like to put a couple drops on my flasher. Some people don't. It's really just a preference when it comes to that. But, yep. Now, the Puget Sound, what I have found is when the coho come in, I really like to troll a ace high fly and a green hoochie. Now, these seem to work the best because they just seem to be feeding on the squids more when the coho are in, and they just seem to like that a lot more. I like to put spacers in my ace high flies to keep those hooks from being back there, and I do like to run my trailer hook back quite a ways. That way you get those fish that are trailing it and just smacking at it, not actually eating it. Sometimes that will really help you out. Now in the Puget Sound you do want to have pinched barbs. That's a rule. You do end up losing a lot of fish, but you just kind of have to play by the rules. Now when you're out there trolling, you want to have the best equipment to ensure you don't have any failures or any problems that you could have fixed by just having better equipment to catch more fish. And one of my tips would be the Power Grip Plus downrigger clip. This clip has just worked better than any other clip I've ever owned. It really holds onto your line and makes it so when you're dropping your downrigger ball a little too fast, it won't pop it out or anything. It'll hold on. It will only pop out when the big fish are on, and it really helps with, you can cinch it down so you can detect the smaller shakers when they're on. Just really helps with the amount of fish you catch. Now, for fishing Puget Sound tributaries and the Puget Sound alone from the bank, I really love to use spinners, especially for coho. Now these blue foxes seem to work the best out of any other thing I've used. And they come with a single hook that you can just cut off the treble hook and put on the single hook, which is required for most tributaries and the Puget Sound. So that's really helpful that it comes with that. And it just seems to do really good hookup, and the fish just go nuts for it. I hope these techniques help you catch some king salmon in the Puget Sound. And as always, tight lines.